I get asked every day for advice on how to learn a language. As a teacher who has been studying languages for 15 years and teaching them for over half of that, I have some thoughts. In this video, I'm going to explain my own system for learning languages. You will see why I say what I say in my free courses and what we cover in our school. So if you want to learn a language faster, more effectively, or just understand why I say certain things, keep watching. If you're new here, hi, I am a language coach. My mission is to help you learn languages more effectively so you can get the results you want. Usually, that means helping you stop wasting time with ineffective methods. In this video, we're doing just that. I'm going to help you cut through all the noise and give you a clear plan to follow. If you're already familiar with my content, then you'll know that I like to simplify. I'm a fan of cutting through all the noise and giving you simple advice that you can actually apply. So let me be clear. There is no magic bullet. No single tip or trick will make you fluent, but these steps will give you a solid foundation and a path to follow. So, let's dive into the basics. The first step is vocabulary. Don't skip this. I know there are people out there who say you shouldn't study vocabulary. Instead, you should just focus on speaking and let the words come naturally. That might work for you. But if you're serious about learning a language or need to pass a test, then you should study vocabulary intentionally. This is important. In the beginning, you won't understand much of the language and it can be overwhelming. Learning new words can make you feel like you're remaking progress because each word you learn is something you can recognize and use. And when you start speaking, your sentences will be simple but clear. But don't worry about memorizing tons of words. Just focus on learning words connected to everyday situations. These are words and phrases that you'll need to communicate in most everyday situations. Here's an example list of the 100 most common words in Japanese. It includes greetings, introductions, questions, and common nouns and adjectives. For other languages, you'll find similar lists online. In the beginning, try to learn at least one new word every day. Later, you can expand to phrases and idiomatic expressions. Studying phrases is helpful because it introduces you to different sentence structures. You also learn how words are used together, which gives you a better understanding of the language. Plus, if someone uses a phrase you've studied, you'll probably recognize it. But here's the thing. Don't use rote memorization to learn words. Rote memorization works for remembering facts, but it doesn't really help you remember words long term. And since you don't memorize the entire contents of your elementary school textbooks, it shouldn't be your go-to method for learning vocabulary either. There are much more effective ways to learn words. And if you'd like to know exactly what they are, check out this video where I explain my system for learning vocabulary. Alright, next up is grammar. Grammar is essential if you want to speak correctly and avoid confusion. Even native speakers use grammar. They just use it subconsciously. When you start learning grammar, you may feel like you're spending a lot of time memorizing rules. But don't worry, you're laying the foundation for accurate and natural speech. Most grammar books are fine, but some can be quite dry and boring. Find a book that keeps things interesting. There are some great resources available. Also, don't limit yourself to the textbook. Explore online materials, YouTube channels, and interactive websites. There are some great resources available. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about listening. Listening is the key to understanding spoken language, but it's often neglected. Many learners only practice speaking and reading. They don't practice listening. I know it sounds obvious, but listening skills develop best with practice. One way to improve your listening skills is to expose yourself to lots of the target language. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, or just put on music. However, passive listening isn't enough. We don't learn a language by osmosis. You can't just sit there and expect knowledge to magically enter your brain. You need to actively practice listening and understanding. Here's what I suggest. First, identify the topic of the material. This helps you understand the context and anticipate what you might hear. Next, don't worry about understanding everything. Start with the gist of the conversation. Then, fill in the details. As you become more confident, you'll gradually understand more. You may even start picking up idioms and other nuances. This will help you develop your intuition for the language. Okay, moving on to speaking. Speaking is your opportunity to apply everything you've learned and actually use the language. Don't delay starting to speak. You may feel nervous or self-conscious, but you're not alone. Many people struggle with this. The best solution is to start speaking as soon as possible. You can begin by imitating native speakers. This is actually a great way to improve your pronunciation and fluency. As you gain confidence, you can start practicing with others. If you don't have anyone to practice with, you can always record yourself. This allows you to listen back and evaluate your own performance. Don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes. That's the only way to learn and improve. Now let's talk about writing. Writing is another crucial skill. Although you can communicate perfectly well without ever writing anything down, writing is necessary for various situations like writing emails, filling out forms, or even posting on social media. The good news is that writing can be fun. You can write stories, poetry, or even scripts for videos. It's a great way to express yourself creatively. But like speaking, writing is often neglected. It's easy to avoid practicing writing, but you'll only improve if you practice. Start by writing basic sentences. You can write about your hobbies, your favorite places, or even your daily routine. This helps you get comfortable with forming sentences and writing. As you progress, you can tackle more complex topics and write longer pieces. Now, here's a tip. Don't worry too much about spelling and grammar. Focus on expressing your ideas clearly. Once you've mastered the basics, you can revisit your writing and work on polishing it. Let's move on to the last step. Reading. Reading is a great way to learn about other cultures and explore new perspectives. But it's also important to develop your reading comprehension skills. Start with simple texts like children's books or short stories. As you progress, you can tackle more challenging material like newspapers or magazines. Here's an important tip. Don't just read for information. Try to visualize the story in your mind. Imagine the characters and settings. This helps engage your imagination and make the story more memorable. Alright, now I've given you the basic steps. But here's the thing. Learning a language is a personal journey, and everyone learns differently. One approach may work wonders for one person, but fall flat for another. That's why it's essential to stay flexible and adapt your learning methods as needed. Learning a language is an exciting adventure. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and embrace the challenges. Remember, the most effective language learners are those who enjoy the process and make it a part of their lifestyle. And here's the final thing. You don't have to go through this alone. If you're feeling stuck or need some guidance, consider working with a tutor or joining a language learning community. A tutor can provide personalized instruction and feedback, and a community can offer support and motivation. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy language learning.